Oh, I know why. That's wrong too. Darn it. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Sorry. Today's weird. My C drive is literally full, like super full. So I'm choppy and so on. I can't even open my charting program. I've got to use this right now. I'm going to try to do a little bit of work here on TradingView. Well, my thoughts are good on the SPY right now. Um, I think the worst is behind us personally right now. That's my general thought at this moment in time. Um, you know, Barring the next calamity, I think we're okay. Actually, if you look at this on the 2 hour, which I never look at stocks on the 2 hours, that's only on crypto because it's 24/7. But if you do look at this, we've come up and we've tested this resistance just under 260 a number of times. We're kind of going into it. So if we can break that 260 and hit higher, we'll probably make the next short leg. Maybe consider a measured move out of it. Oops. Which would put us up here in a 267-ish. Oh, looks like that's a little high. 266 and change. I think so far it's not looking too bad. Hello, Laurie. Q's here, similar situation. There's kind of a symmetrical triangle up here at the top. So it's again not looking bad. Now if I could look at the NQ1, which I think I have on here somewhere. Problem is I can't open my software. What I can do is look at IBD real quick. I want to go over a few things this morning. That's not going to happen. I just don't have enough time. China trade drags down stock futures. Okay, what's that about? All right, so there's that symmetrical triangle. Looks like we're kind of breaking that at the moment. Yeah, see, that's my. I got stuff to do, y'all. Am I still mostly in cash? Um, yeah, I have too much cash right now. I wasn't quick enough to pull triggers on the reversal this time around. Kind of sucks. But the positions I have are pretty good. We'll see what happens today. What happens in these markets is you get these big rallies. Come on, get these big rallies, and then they fizzle out a little bit, and then they come back. So waiting for a little bit of a fizzle, waiting for things to calm down. We may start that today, this week, early on, and then hopefully um, get a little bit more momentum through the week. So we've been in this kind of rising wedge in the Nasdaq. You see, you still have the declining volume, which is really not what you want to see. And what we discussed last week is you want to see um, how we handle a drop and then how we try to rebound off of that drop. And that'll give you a little bit of indication as far as how bullish and how bearish we are. I was looking at a bunch of stuff over the weekend. There's a lot of breadth indicators that look really bullish. There's a lot of so apparently we went extraordinarily oversold. Now we're extraordinarily overbought, like immediately, just a straight candle line, and that is usually very, very bullish, like very, very bullish. They said at a 7 out of 7 cases, one guy on Twitter I saw, at a 7 out of 7 times that occurred in the past 50 years, we ended up positive 3 months later. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign, being in that kind of company. We'll see what ends up completely happening. Nothing's for certain. Damn, WebStorm is killing my thing. Just got my Winterstat thing back. I'm going through my C drive and trying to delete things so I can work again. A few MJ stocks when they rocketed upward, but pretty small positions. INSG off to a good start. That's good. If I can delete this one huge ass file, I'll be able to open my thing finally. And then OBS updated today too. So I woke up late, computer's full, OBS updated. Lovely. Plus 3%. No, that's good. So here's the NQ right here. Yeah, I've got that thing till I've got INSG till, I don't know if it's March or June. I think it's March. Maybe it's June. I think I have INSG till June. So that thing can go up a bunch between now and June. It's going to be a straight line. Black again. Lovely. All right. I'll stop and start. All right. I should be back, everybody. Like I said, OBS updated. I'm not sure if it's going to be good for me or bad for me. I wasn't really given an option this time. Sorry you guys are on the receiving end of some technical issues with me today. Let's see if I can restart that. I got rid of a couple of files. I think I may just have to do a clean install of Windows at this point. Yeah, it looks like it's starting up now. All right, let me log in. Amazon down 2.6%, not a good thing. MasterCard down 4.4. All right, there we go. Come on. What is going on? There it is. It's right there. It does this all the time. Gives you this little bar. There we go. My goodness. Okay. Futures lower. Open lower. All right. All right. Breaking the little pennant there. Alright, so we're breaking this pennant. INSG, Boot, MJ, couple of MJ stocks. Kron's up here. Looks like Kron broke that. Oh, CGC I was maybe looking at. No? Where is it? That was CG. There was one that had a... Oh, here it is. It is Kron. There's a little... It's kind of a wide, erratic base. There's almost a head and shoulders here. The volume isn't right. Son of a... Alright, you know what? This worked better last time if I did a window capture. I'm going to have to do some testing, guys. Sorry about this. And there's me editing my window. Oh, there you go. Oh, I can make it bigger. You can do that. Can't see the last comment, though. There we go. Alright, something like that. Let's see if that works. A bearish sign. That's right. My technical issues have been known to sway market direction. The Bleh, you're finally back. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're back. Alright, let me get rid of these files. I may just completely delete Microsoft Outlook. How's that? I think that would make me feel better in my soul. Business trip, then got sick. Oh, really? Well, at least you don't have to stumble through this technical garbage for the first 10 minutes of the video. You're here live. You missed most of it. Alright, so the green on my chart's getting a little bit bigger. I got INS, Kron, THRM, INSG flat now. AMED, NTs, NetEase, VMW. So VMW with a couple of red days here. Could be a decent chance for an entry coming back to the 10-day moving average. Expecting to get a little bit of a pullback at the here. So here's the 50-day on the Nasdaq. Well, we're back into market in uptrend on this day right here, Blah. So, and we're past 5 days without a distribution day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is good. That usually means we're mostly out of the woods. And if you remember, we had the Apple news came out here about that their economic world was going to slow down. And everyone got super bearish. The market didn't actually have a huge reaction on it. Maybe it was here. I don't remember which day it was, but one of these days, market didn't have a massive reaction like it should have in a bear market. And then we had the good news out of China here, which caused our follow-through day. There's two things. The Fed and China was on the same day, gave us a follow-through day. And then we had some bad news Thursday, Friday last week. I forget what it was, but we didn't react negatively to it. And remember, I mentioned a while back saying that we were a news-driven market. Well, look to see how the market reacts to big headlines. If it pushes them off to the side, like if you look at something and go, oh, that's bad, and then the market goes, I don't care. That's probably a good thing, right? So, go ahead and go ahead and do that. Go ahead and pay attention to the news and stuff. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to double dip here and kill a bunch of files at the same time. Big files, too. Didn't know they were going to my C drive with some video editing files for my power hours. I don't really edit them twice, so I'll take them out of here. Give me some C drive space so my thing can update. And we're already pulling back quite significantly on the Nasdaq there. Still out of the triangle here. That's okay. I'm not super worried about this triangle. Markets behave a little bit different than stocks do. So Twitter down 1%, Lily down 1%, Goose down 1%. Those aren't bad numbers. Teams actually pulling back on us here, which is nice. If you're looking for, we talked about the past couple days, maybe it was just yesterday, a pullback entry on team. This is better. We're down to 3% within the buy point. Volume's been decelerating, and we're not really selling. So team has opened up higher. This could be a good time to get into team. We do have earnings coming up on the 17th. I'm not exactly sure when earnings season starts. Let me look it up, because that's going to be important how we handle the earnings calendar. Man, my computer's still slow. 2019. I'm not sure what that CFA file is. Anybody that works in Photoshop know what a CFA file is? Don't know if I can delete those or not. These I know I can delete. Oh, I can't mass select. Okay. Fine. Looks like the 15th. Earnings calendar on the 15th. We get Delta, JP Morgan Chase. There we go. UNH, WFC. Okay. Today's the 14th. Adobe audio files. Okay. Oh, thank you, Justin. Sorry, I had to go do something for 2 seconds. So today, Citigroup and Shaw. Looks like earnings really get going on the 15th. How they really get going. Let's look at the 16th. Alcoa. Usually Alcoa starts the earnings season, so I guess they're considering that when earnings season starts. A couple before, but Bank of America, BlackRock, a couple of those. On the 17th, you get a bunch. So coming into earnings seasons, we'll have to see how this works. This could be a good opportunity for institutions to buy things that are of. I mean, right now should be really good value, unless they just see horrible economic numbers and everyone's, looking lower. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but we'll just have to wait and see. Man, these audio files are huge. I can get a separate SSD system set up just for my Photoshop. That's what's been killing me here. All right, let's go take a look at markets again. See what our green looks like. About the same, slightly larger, not much. INSG back up. Haven't looked at that yet. Thank you, Justin, for keeping me updated. So INSG, they're not looking bad. I mean, looking really good, actually. INS, not related at all, is also looking very good. We talked about this on a pullback buy on Friday. Still is a good candidate for that. Being held up by that trend line. So you're still pretty much almost right on that trend line. That's good. Oh, man. Sorry, my ears are bugging me today. CYBR. I'm not having a good morning, personally. Cyber's a good company. I have to check on IBD, but I think they are a leader. And CyberArk, I think their security holding up very well above the 200 period moving average on my daily chart, which is extremely bullish this whole time. 214, so you have earnings about a month out. If it can break above, this, about the $80 level right here, I think that would be good on Cyber. And it's kind of a mini weird pullback down 23% here, but yeah, I don't mind it at all. I don't mind it at all, but it has to move. It has to break out before you can get interested. You want to buy something when you have an expectation of a profit, and what I mean by that is that it starts moving in the direction you want. You don't want to buy it through this choppy garbage, unless you have a personality that allows you to buy lower. You want to buy on a breakout or or some kind of a signal that lets you know you're going to be profitable, or at least have a likelihood to be profitable. Boot up 13%. Haven't heard from Boot in a while. Look at this. Look where my trend line is. I usually draw these out a little bit, so. Okay. Looks like Boot broadening down here at the bottom. That's called a broadening wedge. It's a weird place and a very large broadening wedge. I don't know what that means, to be quite honest with you, but breaking the trend lines or breaking the trend lines. So it looks like we gapped up over the 50-day this morning, which is bullish, actually. So there's the 10-day, there's the 50-day, so that's good. Now we're going to test the 200-day. We'll probably chop around here for a while, see if you can form a base down here, some nice sideways action, and then Boot was, looking good all throughout the last year, it looks like here. Had a big pullback. Let's see what percentage it was. It's going to be a lot. 54% pullback. Of course, the market did go into a bear market. There's kind of a rule of thumb. You take whatever the market drops. This is kind of coming out of nowhere. But you take whatever the market drops, add 50% to it, and that is like what a healthy stock should pull back. So we're down about 25%. And that's pretty easy math, 37.5%, but I'll do it on the calculator in case I'm wrong. I think it's, man, my computer's so slow. So 25 times 1.5, 37.5. So 37.5% is about what a stock in line with the NASDAQ should have pulled back. So this is a little bit past that, obviously. But still nice gap up today. And we'll see if we can get some sideways action here for a little bit. More green on my screen now, so that's good. What's my buddy NetEase doing? I still haven't gotten into NetEase. Oh, this is not NetEase. That's NetEase. Okay, so we've had some nice sideways consolidation in this thing. Had a couple of pullbacks. Now this thing, if China's doing okay, this could be a decent time to maybe start looking at positions. I'll have to look into that. Buying team with a breakout price goal of 108 and a stop loss of 85 sound good. Breakout price goal. So like you're saying buy it now with a target of 108. And then a stop loss of 85. That would be a fairly traditional exit at about 8% from here. In terms of 108 as a goalpost. Yeah, that's not too bad. 108's not too bad. I would probably So first of all, it looks like it's going a little lower today, so I don't know if I would arbitrarily buy it right now. If you're able to watch it, let's go to this. Let's go to here. If you're able to watch this, I would watch it and look for some. You back in here, James? I would look for some bottoming signals or some turnaround signals. You could look for a very high volume candle. Hi, James. I'd look for a spike in volume and a low possibly, or something like that, or maybe like even a break of this trend line. If we go sideways through that, that could be an entry. I don't like to arbitrarily buy. Even if it looks good on the daily, you can zoom down a little bit to a lower time frame and get a decent entry point. But right now we've broken these lows, so we could come back down, test a breakout point. I mean, it may actually break this thing going sideways. But you do have to pick a time when you're going to enter. I don't like to arbitrarily enter. But, I mean, team looks really good. So I do got to say that. Not a whole lot of follow-through yet. But I don't think a lot of the market stocks are. It does have earnings coming up on the 17th, so that may give you pause for entering just yet. You may want to wait until after earnings. Now, it may gap up on earnings, but it also may gap down. And earnings are always a gamble. So maybe waiting until after earnings is probably the most prudent move to do right now. We're just, you think if we were drowning and now we just have our arms on the side of the pool, do you want to go you want to go diving right away. No, you probably want to rest for a few minutes. So I would let the market prove itself at this stage of the game. I think team's done a good job. It's done a good job. It hasn't done a gangbuster job like INSG. I'm not referencing it due to the price appreciation, but mainly the volume. The volume on the breakout here in INSG has been very healthy and abrupt, and that's a good sign. Okay, that's a good sign there. So team, the volume's been a little bit muted. We did have a breakout day on higher volume, but it's been a little muted since. If you want to take a small position, see, here's the thing: you also don't have to go all in. You can take small positions. You could take whatever your position size is. You could arbitrarily, if you want to arbitrarily buy like a 25% position here, I think that's okay. You're going to have minimal and portfolio percentage risk on that. So let's say it doesn't really recover much and it drops down there. You're going to be down about 3%. 3% sucks on a position or your portfolio, but if you're in a quarter of a position, it's not really, you're not going to be that stressed. And then if it gets a nice bounce off of that, you'll be in on that too, and maybe you can rebuy on the way up. So, and as I speak, it crosses the trend line. That trend line was always too small. It was always going to cross that trend line. Anyway, I'll delete that. But overall, generally, I like the plan. What I would try to do there is I would try to reduce that risk of 85. Yes, James. Quickly. Uh-huh. He's not doing it quickly. All right, guys, I'm back. Yeah, so okay, what do we got now? So boot up 12, Tilroy up 10%. Again, this thing just makes moves. This is like a crypto. So I think that's pretty cool. Funko, let's go through what's working now. Funko actually breaking through that trend line we noted last week. Moving through that trend line. Volume's okay. It's not great. I would like a consolidation. I find it difficult just to buy up this much without a consolidation. Figure it goes from 11 to 16. That's like a 50% move. Yeah, 48% move. With no pauses. A little bit scary. What you need? You okay, James? Can I help you open that? There you go, guys. So a little scary buying that. I would like a pullback or some kind of a base, a pattern to buy off of. I guess there was a little mini pattern of a couple of days pullback right there. Maybe that's my entry. Maybe I'm missing that entry. But Funko, when it was rocking up here, you look at it went from 10 to 30 in a parabolic move. Right there. So maybe it could come back almost just as hard. You never do know. You never do know. So Cron up 3%. I think Cron is looking pretty interesting. I've had thoughts about entering a position. I haven't. It's kind of crossing this $14 barrier, which has kind of been some resistance. You see a peak here, a couple of peaks here a little lower at about 13. So there's a range right here that it's kind of been bound by, and so far it's starting to peak its head above that. I would like that to get going. The MJ sector overall since the bottom of the NASDAQ here has been very, very bullish. Very, very bullish. You can see the MJ ETF is straight off the bottom, just from 23 to 35 or 31, up about 36%. We got Roku. Now, Roku's been looking pretty good. Did have a little pullback. Has a little minor gap down here. Not sure if that's going to be filled or not. It's looking pretty good right here. Maybe a break of this trend line on the daily could get you in to Roku. Roku, some very nice volume there. Also, a little bit of selling there. You know what? Let's... that was a few days back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days back. 1, 2, 3, 5 days. So this is that big day on that big red day over here is here. So you can see start at the gate, a bunch of red volume, and then it really just peters off. So most of the volume was in the open. You have a big that's probably a neutral candle. Sell. So there's some sellers up here. At least there were a week ago. We'll see what. So this is a nice little consolidation. I probably actually would like to consider some Roku. INSG still popping. We talked about this last week on the break of this trend line. As it was breaking out, as a matter of fact, it was early in the day. We were able to catch that. I didn't add to my position. Kind of wish I would have. I didn't make too many moves. INS still going. INS also on a pullback here to this trend line. It's been following the 10-day on the way up for the past week or two, which is bullish since it broke out of that cup with handle. HTZ. Med. Okay, so there's Cron again. MMNFF. WGO, WLL. Urban. Chesapeake. LPLA. Advisors to the advisors to the advisors. They actually advise financial advisors, which is why I call them that. See no investor around, ask him about LPLA. See if he says advisors to the advisors to the advisors. LPLA looking pretty good. It's a little wide and loose down here. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I do like these candles that close to the upside. Look at these 3 green candles. They all close towards the highs. And now we're trying to break through this little resistance level, 66.35. We just barely poked our head out of it. And we'll see if we can maintain that. Volume isn't heavy quite yet. Looks like they have earnings coming up in a few weeks. In 2 weeks, as a matter of fact. But they could get going. Look at the RAM. They went 15 to 73 over 3 years. That's 2.5 years, actually. 2.25 years. So that's a pretty big swing. We were playing them back here, 2013, 2012, 2013. What else we got? MJ coming back a little bit. Nettie's back up 1%. I'm not mad at this Nettie's trade. Just need some China to start working. This is my kind of trade right here. It just needs to break out. You got Foot Locker. Foot Locker's actually not looking too bad. Look at that. You've got a nice cup formed. All right, come on. Update. Why is my computer just laggy? Only pulled back 24%. Definitely have a cup. This could be considered your handle. So you got a cup with handle right here. And it tried to break out and failed so far. May get going in the future. But it really didn't break down that far with the rest of the market. That's intriguing. I will say that. And Pi, there's LPLA again. Lumber Liquidators, Sherman-Williams, really expensive paint. MJ coming down. Looks like we're going to get a pause in some of the marijuana names. After a nice run, look at the nice increasing volume on the way up. That's healthy. A nice pause here would be good. All right, let's see what's down in the dumps today. Then I think I'm going to get out of here. Auto Home down 11%. Ooh, wow. That's a big negative. Look at that on Friday. Wow, that's pretty big. Square's down actually quite a bit today. Down about 3%. This has been up 1, 2, 3, about 6 days in a row. So if a pullback in Square finally is a little bit healthy, kind of test the market. It's 3% is a little deep though. I'm not sure why 3%. That's pretty deep. But it has had a good run up here off the lows. Since it broke its descending wedge here, it's been behaving beautifully. Stopping at its 50-day moving average right there. So there's the 10-day, there's the 50-day, there's the 200-day. It stopped at the 200-day. So we'll see if it can consolidate here a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't go down a bunch. Maybe support at the 10-day would be really nice. Maybe it does that stays down here for a week or so. Would actually be pretty healthy. Usually when you break out of these long declining patterns, there's a pausing period. Usually a couple of weeks. But this one already broke out fairly significantly. If it can be supported by the 10-day, that would be very, very bullish. And then we'll end up, it'll cross these moving averages probably later this month and then get going again. It looks like the NASDAQ, that's Square. There we go. NASDAQ still chopping around its opening. Actually opened up here. It's chopping around its opening range. Nothing major though. Tesla down about 3% as well. Tesla always has some news going on. So I think it's interesting. Tesla stepped back up into the same range that it was in for a while, and so far hasn't exited it. They may need another quarter or two of some profitable numbers before you get larger institutions really fully invested more than they already are if they want to add to that position. If they see the growth really there, which, I mean, you look around, the numbers look like they're there. So it could do pretty good. You got Team down here, 2.24%. So like I said, still chopping around lower. Hopefully it'll do it a low volume consolidation above this breakout point. That would be ideal. And then it can curl around and go right back up. Paycom, which was a pretty big market leader. Look at that, from 12 to 164 in 2014. That's huge. That's just a huge run. That's 1,000. That's a 10-bagger. That's 1,000%. That's pretty rare. Obviously, that happened over 1, 2, 3, 4 years. 1, 2, 3, 4 years. But I'm not mad at a 10-bag in 4 years. Nice pullback. One of the few pullbacks this thing has. So pulled back about 50% back here in 2015 in relation with the rest of the market. And it looks like it did something similar here, about 56% to that ultimate low, 54% to that kind of a recent local low here. Yeah, between these two lows. And then now it looks like it's going sideways, consolidating. I don't know how much gas it has if it's going to do another, 300% or whatever. Or it probably won't do 1,000% from here, but if it breaks out from there, that's still 261%. But Paycom's a market leader. It's doing okay. It's holding its own right now. It's above the moving averages. They've actually come together nicely, very, very nicely. If we can get an expansion in the other direction, going bullish, obviously that's pretty much what everybody wants here. I think that's it for the stuff down low that's of interest right here. Huya, we've been talking about Huya for a minute. Looks like it's finally pulling back. IQ down 7%, pulling back as well. Looks like barely crossed the trend line and Gap down pretty hard, actually. That's a little tough right there. So Lilly down 1%. Looks like not failing to break out again. Twitter down 1% as well. So we're getting some nice pauses here in the market. We got to see how these things behave. We got to see how they... Oh, my screen's all green now. Look at that. That's pretty good. So yeah, we got to see how these things behave. We got to see how they work. And if we get some nice tight consolidations are better than wider consolidations. If you have a tight consolidation, there's not a lot of selling involved. If you have a wide consolidation, there's a lot of selling involved. And they can bring it back, but it takes them a lot of effort. And you want it tight because that same effort could be used to break the stock out. I want them to fight to not break the stock out, then fight to bring the stock up. So, all right, guys, with that, I think I'm going to bounce, get out of here. See you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a little better technical issues. I'll try to address my computer today. So see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.